Hello, good morning. Welcome, everyone, to the Honors Chemistry stream, day 7 of quarantine. If you missed it yesterday, the governor announced that we are staying quarantined until May the 1st. So get ready for a long ride. We're in this for the long term. I know, Cooper. I know you don't want this, but yeah. We still get spring break in 2 weeks. Thanks, Mr. Weaver. Hunter, I think you'll be all right. Yeah, most likely, Hannah. That's kind of the first date that would be back at school would be May the 4th. Johnny, don't go commit felonies. Yeah. So, anyways, we still have. So we still will take a week off in 2 weeks for spring break. But yeah. AP exams. They've made an announcement about that on the College Board website that they're going to be reduced. The AP Chemistry has been changed a decent amount. You'll have to check with your AP teacher to see. Kate, that depends on how we're handling the situation. It depends on like how many active cases there are and how many people we have that have recovered at that point. No, Drake, stay awake. Yeah, Lauren, potentially they've announced that they're going to do 45-minute AP test and they're going to do short answer only, and they've got a couple ideas on how they're going to do that. So, Xander, don't light yourself on fire. 2:30. You should probably go to bed a little bit earlier. 2:30 is not too bad. That means you still got like 5.5 hours of sleep. That's doable. Yes, Xander, that's Hannah. I'm just gonna check. So, in case you were curious, we're up to 400,000 cases worldwide, 395,000. This, let's see. This is the most concerning thing. This is the number of cases, and you'll notice we're not flattening the curve. This curve is going up very fast, very rapidly. So, yeah, until this curve starts to level off, we are going to be in quarantine. So, yeah. Yeah. Oof. That's intense. Um, no, Kai, because we're doing all this online stuff, there have been no plans to change the school ending date. So summer is still going to be summer. There's no change on that. Um, okay, cool. Um, so today the plan was to mostly just focus my camera, was to mostly just go through the what's going to be on the test, so that you can kind of know what to prepare for and what to study for. Even though the test is going to be open notes and things like that, I still want you to have an idea of what you're going to see, because you do only get one attempt to do the test. You can still go see people, Cooper. You just can only group and meet with groups of less than 10. Yeah. All right. So let's dive into what's going to be on the test. So the test is going to be 47 multiple choice. Right. So this test it's going to be the same as a test we would have in class, right? And if we were doing it in class, it would take you an hour to complete. And so you should plan on at least an hour to take this test and to do this test, if not a little bit longer. So make sure that you understand that this is a test. So plan accordingly when you decide that you're going to take it. Right. Remember, the last day to take it is going to be Sunday at midnight. Okay. No, there's not a time limit, Lauren. I'm not going to have it like shut or anything. It's just if you just have to have it done by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. All right. So of those 47 multiple choice questions, there will be 4 of them that have to do with pressure. Right. That's kind of where we started this whole unit, way back when we actually were at school. There's going to be 3 questions dealing with heat, right? Cooper, no, I don't. 2 questions dealing with where we talked about moles and grams. We did a couple examples of those tricky kind of back and forth idea where you have to look at the periodic table and look at how many grams there are and how many moles there are, etc. Okay, now this is a big chunk here. There's going to be 9 on strength of bonds. Hey, what's up?
I just need to grab stuff.
Oh, okay. So 9 questions on strength of bonds. There'll be 4 questions dealing with the idea of like dissolves like. I might actually remove one of these. I haven't decided yet. So I might make the test a tiny bit shorter, but this is what it's looking like so far. No time limit, Zach. You just have to have it done by 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. 2 on solution properties. 2 on solution concentrations. So yeah, hypothetically you could start and leave it for a bit and come back to it another time. Yeah, Cooper. Yeah, you could take 111 hours as soon as I get it uploaded. 2 on solution concentrations, 3 dealing with a phase diagram. Phase diagram, 3 dealing with mixtures. To give you a quick short answer, Valen, intermolecular forces, you have to have similar intermolecular forces in order for substances to dissolve. Yeah, Meredith, you can. That's fine. That's notes. Zach, don't make me time you out. Drake, class might be a little bit shorter today. It just depends on how many questions you guys have. Electrolyte, that's just how much it conducts electricity, remember? So when we have strong electrolytes, non-electrolytes, weak electrolytes, that's how much it conducts electricity. Of course that's going to get deleted. Are you kidding me? All right. So Then the rest of the test, we've got 3 on predicting endo-exo. Four on colligative properties. All right, so this is all your multiple choice, right? So biggest things, yeah, these are still multiple choice, right? So the biggest things are going to be your strength of bonds worksheet, right, which we spent a lot of time doing, as well as the strong, weak, and non-electrolyte ones, which of course were on Roman numeral 12, right? Canvas is due tonight, Zach. That is correct. Okay. Now for the short answer, well, they're not really going to be short answer. I mean, they kind of are. They're going to be like drop down, multiple select, all that stuff. You have to have 11 and 12 in by tomorrow, Lauren. Okay. So for the short answer, we're going to do 8, where you have to predict splitting. Right? They're basically going to be like 2-part problems. They're going to be, I guess they're kind of like multiple choice in that you'll say, like, so I'll give you a compound and I'll say, okay, when this compound dissolves, is it going to split or is it going to stay together? So you have to say split or stay together. And if it's going to split, you have to actually write out what it splits into. And so that's why it's kind of short answer. So splitting as dissolves. Then there's going to be 4 where you have to balance and identify endo-exo. Yeah, so these are like Roman numeral 11. These are technically like Roman numeral 4 that we did a week or 2 ago. And then there'll be 1 short answer explanation. So remember, endothermic and exothermic has to do with heat being, if heat's going in or heat's coming out. Tyler, I'm not 100% sure on total points. Points are kind of a weird thing these days now that we're all being at home and things like that. So points, I mean, probably 100-ish. I still want it to be a decent amount. I probably won't do the full 200 though, because it's hard to give it the same weight as it would hold if we were doing it in a normal class. So probably closer to 100 would be my bet. Yeah, I'll potentially have a little extra credit. Not as much as usual though. Again, because it's a lot lower stakes. So I love how Valen's trying to do the canvas. So Valen, seed crystal is just if you add it to a super saturated solution. We watched a video that talked about that. It's going to come out of solution and it's going to be, the resulting solution is going to be just saturated. That has to do with this solution concentration. There is 1 or 2 questions that ask about that. Remember, we had unsaturated, saturated, and supersaturated. If you add a seed crystal to unsaturated, it'll dissolve. If you add it to saturated, it'll sink to the bottom. If we add it to supersaturated, it'll precipitate. So Caden, labs, what I basically want to do is we're just going to kind of skip the labs, and then if we actually end up ever going back to school, we'll spend most of the time that we're back in school doing labs. So yeah. The test is going to be on Canvas, Jonathan. No, it's not in the notes, but it was in the video. Yeah, just because I don't write something down doesn't mean you don't have to, maybe make a small note about it. Cooper, that's an interesting question that I doubt, but I don't know. I don't think anyone's failing currently, so I hope, Drake, that we'll be back at least for a couple weeks so we can have something. But May 1st is the latest from the governor, so well, probably May 4th technically. We're closed through May 1st, so the first day back would be May 4th. Well, we'll only have a month of in-person school. We're gonna do another month of the rest of this stuff. So, y'all still in school? Yeah, and again, like Lauren says, it'll just depend. No, school ends a week before that, Caden. School ends at the end of May this year. Oh no, you can't send links. Sorry, Valen. Hey, nice, Simon. No, I'm not making you a mod. Okay. Let's do. So what questions do you guys have? What do you want to know? What do you want more practice of? Let's see. Should we allow the term idiot? Sure. Okay. What questions do we have? What would like dissolves like? Okay, so here we go. Hold on. All right. Okay, so Ellie, real quick, the equations with pressure and solubility, I'm not going to have any of those on the test. So you don't have to worry about those ones. So there won't be any of those on the test. Endo-exo, we'll go through that in a second, Izzy. That's a great thing. Let me make a note. And then like dissolves like, we can talk about real quick as well. Okay. Cool. So let's do endo-exo first. We get a random drawing from, I think, probably my son or my daughter. Okay, so for endo-exo, yeah, so endo-exo was something we did when we were still in class. Let's see. All right. Oh, okay, Tyler. The questions on pressure are going to be like, how does pressure change with elevation? How do we measure pressure? What do we know about barometers and those things? Yeah, it looks kind of like a cell, like an amoeba or something. Okay, so endo-exo. So remember, we had 4 ways to tell if something was endo-exo, and they were prioritized by most important. Yeah, they'll be on the multiple choice, Tyler. So endo-exo, the first thing we asked is, or the first thing we said is, you're being told, right? And a couple ways you can be told is if they tell you that like delta H is positive, right? Or heat is on the left. Okay, those are both ways that they would show it's endothermic. If delta H was negative, then it would be exothermic. If heat was on the right, it would also be exothermic. So if those heat terms are given to you, you can know that it's endo or exothermic as a result of that. Or if they say that it gets hot, right? By telling you that it gets hot, they're telling you that it's releasing heat. And so that's another way to say that it's exothermic. So the first thing to look for is if you're being told. Okay. The second thing is going to be look for combustion. right? Or reversed combustion. Okay, the idea that we have some carbon plus oxygen making CO2 and water, right? Or if you have the reverse of this, okay? So if we have exothermic in this direction, and then the other direction would be endothermic, okay? So combustion is the next thing you look for. The third thing is you're going to look for bond breaking and making. Right? For example, if we have 2A goes to B, in this case we are forming a bond, and so this would be exothermic. Right? If it was the other way around, where B splits into 2A, that would be endothermic. Okay, so you want to look at the number of compounds, and you want to count. Okay, so we go from a lot of compounds to a fewer number, a smaller number. Then of course it's going to be giving off energy. And the last thing we said was to look at phases. Right, as we go from solid to liquid to gas, we said this direction is endothermic that way, and it's exothermic the other way. Yeah, no, Enya, it does need to be both water and carbon dioxide. Combustion, Izzy, is going to be in this direction with the fuel plus oxygen to make carbon dioxide and water. The other way would be carbon dioxide and water to make fuel and oxygen. Okay, cool. So that's how you tell endo-exo. Now, of course, you want to actually practice it. What I would do is I would maybe look at, these are in order of most importance. So number 1 is the most important thing, what you want to look at first, and then number 2, then number 3, then number 4. Define combustion. Combustion is a fuel plus oxygen makes CO2 and water. It's flame. All right, James Smith gets to get banned. Good job, James Smith. It's probably just a bot. Okay. So after endo-exo, no, I banned somebody the other day. I don't remember when or why it was. Breaking bonds is endothermic because it requires energy to break something apart. No, I did it without mentioning it. It's just someone was spamming the chat and I just banned them. Okay. So we want to talk about like dissolve. Okay. So the other thing, sorry. So when we talk about solutions and like dissolves like, we need to understand the idea that we have similar intermolecular forces will dissolve in similar intermolecular forces. Yes, Inya, before we move on to this, forming bonds does release energy. The reason why that is, you can kind of think about magnets, and as two magnets come together, right? When you bring them close enough, they form a bond, and that forming of the bond releases energy. It has to do with the fact that forming bonds makes your compound, for the most part, more stable, and so that increase in stability results in a releasing of energy. Okay, endo-exo. Let's do. Let's talk about like dissolves like. So the idea that we have ionic, we have H bonds, we have dipole-dipole, and dispersion. Right? So the idea is that the closer your forces are to each other, the more likely they are to dissolve in one another, okay? So we can think about ionic, we can think maybe like sodium chloride, hydrogen bonds, water, Dipole-dipole, something like acetone, and dispersion, something like styrofoam. Okay. So again, the closer, good morning, Tiara. The closer two things are to each other, the more likely they are to dissolve in one another, right? So sodium chloride is probably not going to dissolve in acetone, right? But sodium chloride and water will mix. Same thing, water and acetone will mix, but say water and styrofoam won't mix, okay? And then acetone and styrofoam mix, right? And so the idea is that the closer they are, the more likely they are. So dispersion ionic would not dissolve. Yeah, and again, it is usual. This is a range. This is speaking in generalities. This is just letting you predict without actually doing the experiment. But it's a pretty good little list. So again, ionic, right? Metal and a non-metal, positive and a negative. Hydrogen bonds. So all three of these are technically molecules, right? Molecules have all non-metals. Potentially, Faye, it might be like it might do an oil and water thing, where the oil sits on the top and the water on the bottom, and they separate, and you might have one dissolve in one and one dissolve in the other. But you could potentially have them all dissolve if you have the right mixture of things. Yeah, and yeah, it's better if they're the same, but if they're close enough, you should try it. I don't have any of my chemicals at home, Lauren. Sorry. Maybe I'll grab some stuff from school. So how do you know if something's dipole-dipole? So remember, hydrogen bonds, hydrogen directly bonded to nitrogen, oxygen, or fluorine. Dipole-dipole is when you have any sort of a polar molecule, so something that has an uneven distribution of electrons. And then dispersion is when you have non-polar, where everything is all balanced out. Yeah. Okay, what other questions do we have? So we have an antibond. Not necessarily. I mean, there are some dipole-dipole compounds that will dissolve some ionic compounds, and there are some ionic compounds that don't dissolve in hydrogen bonds. It just kind of depends. So no, Xander, Cl2 would be dispersion because it's nonpolar. Yeah, and not at my home, Lauren. That's at school. No, there's no conversion things. I don't know what you're talking about with conversion things. So, Jonathan, a question like this would be like one on the Canvas that is like, which of the following would you predict is most likely to dissolve in carbon tetrachloride? Or like, it basically will give you, it'll give you one element and it'll ask you to pick, which is going to be the most similar. I don't have any pets, Cooper. Why are gases less soluble at higher temperatures? Yeah, so it's the idea that they have more kinetic energy. So at a higher temperature, you have more kinetic energy, and so they're less soluble. Oh, temperature conversions. Yeah, you do need to know the temperature scales. So, reminder on that. Okay, we had Fahrenheit, Celsius, and Kelvin. You know that Fahrenheit, the equation was degrees Fahrenheit equals 9/5 degrees Celsius plus 32. Basically, double Celsius plus 30 gives you Fahrenheit, and then degrees Celsius plus 273 equals Kelvin. So you should have these ideas known and do a couple conversions. Hey, no more Chinese, people. Chill out. Let's just do English. Otherwise, I'll just start to ban you. Yeah, that one was Russian. The others were Chinese. Test is going to open up this afternoon. I've still gotta plug it into Canvas. Yeah, two of the same are more likely to dissolve in each other. Yeah, I've got a little bit of a cold. I got the Rona. No, I don't. I doubt it, but I have a little bit of a cold. My kids were like sick the past couple weeks, and so I think I just caught whatever they had. Okay, what other questions do we have on the test? First word under endo-exo? What do you mean? Colligative properties? So a polyatomic ion bonded to like a metal would be an ionic compound. Yes, Parker. And then to a non-metal, it would be a molecule. Yeah, if you just had a whole bunch of non-metals together, it's a molecule. Yeah, other languages can conjugate. Oh, you mean like conjunctions? Yeah, conjunctions, not conjugate. Those are two different words. Isaac's just bored. Okay. Any other questions about what's going to be on the test? You guys are kind of all over the place. We've got a couple more minutes. We can talk about it. Yeah, potentially, David. So the test opens this afternoon, Isaac, and it goes through Sunday. Yeah, sorry, that's plus. Degrees Celsius plus 273 is Kelvin. There's gonna be so moles, right? We're just gonna ask general questions about like if I had a gram of lead and a gram of aluminum, which has more atoms? The answer is the aluminum because it weighs less, and so there's more atoms. Yeah, if I need to, Tiara, we kind of have to wait and see how everyone does on it. Only if people don't have more questions, Trinity. No, you're good. So again, test is going to be on Canvas, open notes, closes Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Opens this afternoon. One attempt. No Google/friends. So in your solution concentrations, that's just, we talked about something being unsaturated, saturated, or supersaturated. Tiara already answered that. It depends on how everyone does. Yeah, probably Zach. It just kind of depends. I think I'm almost affiliated. I think I need one more day of streaming to be affiliated. I'm glad you're back, Caden. No friend. I guess if your brother isn't your friend, Olivia, no, don't have. You shouldn't have anyone else helping you, right? So it should represent your own work, but you can use your notes, right? So it's on Canvas. You can use your notes. It closes Sunday, opens this afternoon. You only get one attempt. No checking Google. No asking friends. No asking everyone else. Just all those other things. No, you're fine, Tiara. So if we all do well, there won't be a big curve. No, because everyone does well. Yay, you all get A's. Only if you don't abuse it, David. Okay. You're good, Hunter. I'm gonna post a video on YouTube. It looks like the power went out for a lot of people. Must be an area over in Sandy Conwood Heights that went out. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and end here. Let me know if you guys have more questions and things like that. I'll be available from noon to 2 in the Discord. Yeah, I guess a lot of people's power went out. So, I live out in Taylorsville, Tyler. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Weaver will be in the Discord as well to answer questions. Okay, cool. We'll go ahead and end here. If you have more questions and things like that, just hop into the Discord around noon. I'll be there to answer any questions that come up. So, good luck on the test. Tomorrow we are still going to hold class, and we're going to dive into that. I don't even remember your question from earlier, Valen. I lost my train of thought. Yeah. Okay, cool. Have a wonderful rest of your quarantine day and enjoy the next what do we got? We got 30, almost 40 more days of quarantine. Oh yeah, tomorrow, that's what I was going to talk about, Jonathan. Tomorrow we are going to dive into, we're going to review naming compounds. So for some of you, that'll be a recent thing. For some of you, that'll be from a long time ago. So get your flashcards because we're going to review naming compounds. Yep. All right, have a good day, guys.